Welcome into Denver, Colorado, the historic National Western Complex. We are here for Fury Fighting 53, and it's a special night, Mike. There's 16 fights on the card. It's going to be a fantastic night, but it's really special because who else is in attendance?
That's right. The president himself of the UFC, Dana White, is in the house tonight at the National Western Complex. If you're an MMA fighter and you're on the up and come, this is the place to be, Denver, Colorado tonight. AJ, we're going to see right before our eyes some people's lives change tonight. I'm excited about it.
16 fights on the card tonight. We got a ton of them on Facebook at 4:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 Eastern Time. You switch over to UFC Fight Pass. If you're not subscribed, you got time to do it. We got the 155-pound Fury title on the line. Dana White in attendance tonight. Fury FC 53.
Please welcome to the blue corner for your opening contest, Kyle Broadwater.
All right, man, it is time. We're getting underway here. Welcome in to Fury FC 53. Kyle Broadwater making his way to the cage for our opening bout of the night. I am AJ Hoffman. I am joined by Mike Alexander. And Mike, this is it's a fun place to watch fights. Denver's a beautiful city, and Dana White's going to be in attendance tonight watching these guys fight for their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. He should be here any minute now as Kyle Broadwater comes out. Kyle Broadwater, 35 years old, fighting out of Genesis Training Academy. Hasn't had a lot of success in the cage so far, but he's fought 5 very tough fights. His only win by rear naked choke, but he was 4-3 as an AMI, so had a winning record as an amateur fighter. So, I mean, you know, up and coming. This is, you just never know. You never know what's, what these guys have in store, especially whenever you've got the audience that you have tonight.
Absolutely. And listen, a win tonight is worth 5 wins if you do it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though Dana's not in the house yet, he'll be here in the next couple of fights. The executives are, and they see it, and he will watch this broadcast. So everybody's on high alert. I went back to the locker room just a while ago to kind of get the feel for the fighters, and man, you could cut the tension in there with a knife. It was unbelievable tension. Everybody was fired up, ready to go. So I'm looking forward to this card.
Hi, Dana, if you're watching right now.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well. Kyle Broadwater's opponent, Jason Mullen, will be out in just a second. Should be at least an entertaining opening scrap tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime, like I said, these are MMA fights, and, just like in any fight, any style of fight, anything can happen. The records go out the window once you step in that cage. Sometimes it's this guy's night, and sometimes it's the other guy. So,
and we saw Kyle last time here in Denver put in there. Basically, we thought they were leading a lamb to slaughter, and he put up a nice fight.
Yeah.
In a fight that he probably shouldn't have or wouldn't have been expected to. But he's a tough dude. He's a game opponent.
Yeah, very game.
To the red corner, Jason Mullen.
Here we go, Jason Mullen. Jason Mullen, 24 years old, 11 years younger than his opponent tonight, Kyle Broadwater. This guy moved from Youngstown, Ohio to come here to Denver, Colorado to train at Factory X. He wants to fight full time. He's very, very hungry. I spoke with him quite a bit leading up to the event, and he says all of his eggs are in one basket. He wants to fight for a living. So here he is tonight, ready to put on a show.
I mean, honestly, if you're going to make it at the highest level at some point, that's what you've got to do. You've got to say, hey, I'm going all in with this. And it's a bold, bold move. And I love to see dudes loving the game so much that they're willing to basically say it's this or nothing.
Yeah, and at 24 years old, I would suggest anybody who's on the fence about it, if you're under 28 years old, do it. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong. When you get to the, to 45 like me, and you look back on what you should have done, it's definitely a regret you'll have if you don't put all into it. If you think you've got what it takes to be a full-time MMA fighter and fight at the highest level.
And Jason Mullen also fought on Fury last time we were out here. So a couple of Fury vets going at it here.
Man, AJ, even with the arena as empty as it is right now, I mean, there's probably a couple of hundred people here, but you can still feel it whenever you come in here. The excitement is just in the air with not just, you know, the Fury executives, the ring announcer, everybody's ready to go for this. This is very, very exciting for us and the city of Denver, everything.
Just wait till Dana walks in the door.
Oh, I know.
And that's the beautiful thing about this is all these guys know that he's watching tonight. You're going to see everybody give their A-plus best game tonight, and I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your opening contest is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC featherweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighing officially at 145.6 pounds. Fighting out of Austin, Texas, today he seeks his 2nd professional victory. This is the King Slayer, Kyle Broadwater. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and he weighed in at 145.8 pounds. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, he holds a professional record of 3 victories, 2 defeats. This is Jason Mullen. Your referee in charge of the action, Bobby Wambacher.
There we go, first fight about to get underway.
Tim, are you ready? Kyle, are you ready? Jason, are you ready? Let's get up.
Touch the gloves, and here we go. Both to the center of the cage. Ooh. Starting out with a high kick. Mullen. Let him know he can get that leg up there.
Yeah, Jason Mullen immediately throwing those kicks. Hasn't thrown a punch yet. Hasn't put anything in his face. Just 5 kicks in a row. Which sometimes the excitement of an event like this can kind of get you off your game plan. So hopefully these guys will settle down here in just a couple of seconds and start reacting the way they should. Or maybe that was his game plan.
Maybe it is. Oh, nice entry on that takedown, but good takedown defense there by Broadwater.
Yeah, Jason Mullen came in a little bit high on that double leg attempt and did it from just a little bit far away. And again, he didn't throw anything in his face to try to make him worry about anything else to set it up.
Staying committed to it, though, or at least trying to keep this pressure against the cage.
Yeah, in this position, he needs to fight for that other underhook. He needs to pummel that right arm to try to get that underneath and get double underhooks there. Or what he did there to go to the tie clinch. Him being a little bit shorter prior to the tie clinch is a little bit tougher. And it looks like Kyle Broadwater was ready for that. Jason Mullen feigning well with that big overhand right. If that would have landed, that might have been it. Looks like both fighters have calmed down just a little bit, AJ.
Broadwater is showing a lot, but it doesn't look like he's really putting anything on anything. There's not much intent right now with what he's throwing. I think he's just trying to get his timing, get his space down.
Yeah, probably a good idea. And there, Jason Mullen with that takedown attempt again and kind of drug him down on top of him.
Like you said, that came from almost all the way across the cage. The entry is nice. It's just coming from a place that's difficult to land for. That's a nice sweep, though, and now he's straight into an armbar, maybe.
Yeah, that's
good job by Broadwater to fight out of it, but that was a really nice sweep. He probably could have just taken top position there, but now he's got him in a triangle. This may be, and that's in deep.
That's very tight. That's a very tight triangle.
Mullen needs to cut an angle a little bit here. He's straight on with Broadwater. This is survivable. If Mullen cuts the angle, grabs that leg, and now he's looking to turn a little bit here, now it's going to get worse.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very tough. Kyle Broadwater, I don't like this defense when you throw your legs up there to try to defend this way. It keeps you postured up, but you can still finish this triangle from this position. I like putting both hands on that gate knee and pushing it down to the mat, just like he's trying to do now, and he gets the tap. Jason Mullen gets the tap. Very nice triangle setup. Jason Mullen doing exactly what he said he was going to do.
That's a good showing for Mullen. Some stuff he needs to work on, I think.
Yeah.
And but he did some things really well. You know, getting that sweep. I thought he should have taken top position off that sweep and done some damage there. Instead, he goes for the submission, the armbar, but makes it up, gets a triangle on, and gets a good finish, first round finish.
Yeah, he had bad jiu-jitsu fundamentals on that armbar, but great jiu-jitsu fundamentals for that triangle. So obviously the triangle is something he likes much better, and if he doesn't like it better, he should, because he's a lot better at it. Started out with kind of even. Nobody really landed anything big. And Jason Mullen goes in for that shot here from way far away, kind of drags him down on top of himself. But it looked like that was obviously what he wanted to do. If he didn't feel like he could get the knockout, wanted to get him on the ground. There's that armbar attempt. That was a little bit shallow on the elbow. Like we said, the fundamentals on that, not great, but switches immediately to this triangle setup. Anytime you've got one in and one out, you're in trouble if you're the top guy. Here he goes, tightening that up. Try to pull down on the head. Kyle Broadwater again, very, very tough.
Yeah, that triangle, once you got that angle moved a little bit, got his hip moved a little.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes. 2 minutes, 53 seconds into the very first round, declaring your winner by submission due to a triangle, Jason Mullen.
First round finish, good start to the night for us.
Yeah, I'm sure you're excited about that with a plane to catch and all.
Yeah, I got a flight to catch tonight, so. If we can get, 15 more first-round finishes, I'm not going to complain. I don't think anybody will complain if we get 15 more first-round finishes.
No, Dana White will have his work cut out for him tonight. We get 15 finishes in the first round.
Hope he brought his checkbook.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of people to sign if that happens.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Mason Ellis.
Got a catch weight for our second bout here. Mason Ellis and Jack Girard at 130 pounds. No nonsense, Ellis. He's not up there taking his moment on the stage. He's down here. He's ready to get to work. I like that.
Yeah, Mason Ellis. I saw him fight back in July, and had a very good fight. Looked like he was winning the fight, and then got caught. His one win is a 24-second KO in his pro debut. He's got very good wrestling. He's very, very strong. His loss was by guillotine to up-and-comer Jonathan Davis. So Jonathan Davis, a very, very good jiu-jitsu practitioner. So just had his head on the wrong side on a takedown and got caught. He does have decent wrestling, but wrestling for MMA and wrestling for wrestling is a lot different.
Yeah, solid wrestling, solid boxing for Ellis. And he's 1-2 as a pro, 7-3 as an amateur, though. Won multiple titles as an amateur. So he's struggling right now to adjust to this next level, but he's certainly got the tools to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Very strong, very good cardio. Seems to have good ring presence. We'll see what his game plan is this time. Talked to him a little bit. He didn't want to give much away on his game plan, but I know he's ready.
Please welcome to the red corner, Jack Girard.
Here's his opponent, Jack Girard.
Yeah, Jack Girard, 39 years old, so one of the older fighters on the card. Not the oldest tonight, which is rare, but one of the older fighters on the card. Went to school at Chadron State College in Nebraska. He wrestled in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, NCAA Division II. Trained at Grudge Academy. He trains at Grudge Academy with Justin Gaethje, Rose Namajunas, and of course with boxing coach Trevor Whitman. So the guys he trains with, that he has trained with, are just some unbelievably top-notch, top-level guys.
Those are the guys that are most interesting to me. Guys who you start working with guys who are at the highest level, and you'll get good in a hurry. And sometimes that 0-1 that you see on his record, that may be a little bit deceiving because teams like that don't send guys out into the pro fights if they can't fight.
And also, it's really hard for guys like that, especially on their debut, to get fights because they train with such top-level guys. You just never know whenever your opponents, especially at this level, when you got 1 or 2 fights, people are really protective of their records. So you just never know. When you're coming out of a big, strong camp like that,
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC at a catch weight of 130 pounds. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in at 131 pounds. Fighting out of Temecula, California, today he seeks his second victory as a professional. This is Mason Yacobelis. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 129 pounds. Fighting out of Miami, Florida, by way of Denver, Colorado. Today, he seeks his first victory as a professional. This is Jack Girard.
Come on. As I was saying, Jack Girard he was fighting out of Grudge Training Center, now fighting out of the Genesis Training Academy here in Denver, Colorado.
Jack Girard, you can tell he had hard sparring up until the last minute. My very first amateur fight, I went in with a nice shiner on my eye because went a little too hard in the last few days.
Yeah, Travis Luter tried to always make sure I had a shiner at all times. He didn't care when it was, fight or no fight. But yeah,
nice catch kick into some ground and pound. It's a good job taking a low kick and turning it into a takedown there. If that's where you want the fight to be, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, Mason Yacobelis has got to be careful here. Jack Girard had 4 wins as an amateur, was an amateur champion at 135. All 4 of his wins were by submission.
Big shot landed. Oh, ref was ready to jump in on that. That was a big shot that landed there from Yacobelis.
Yeah, Jack Girard took it pretty well, though. But he's still on top. Jack Girard in a lot of trouble here.
Still got that shield up, which is kind of what's saving him right now. And there you see Yacobelis trying to pass that. He may work to his back here. Yeah, this is good transitions here for Yacobelis.
Yeah, Jack Girard giving up his back there. Ill-advised on that, to turn that way whenever your opponent is in that position. Definitely don't want to be Yacobelis just doling out punishment right now.
Still just the one hook.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of making Jack Girard carry his weight, just trying to wear him out. Jack Girard, obviously a little taller opponent, but Mason Yacobelis a lot more muscle. Seems to be the stockier, stronger fighter so far. And so far, landing some big punches.
There he is.
Yeah, Mason Yacobelis got to be careful. This is exactly how he lost to Jonathan Davis. Stayed too long on that double leg attempt, and then went right into a guillotine.
Girard uses that front headlock to take it down to the fight, or take it down to the mat. And not really looking for submission just yet, but he is kind of moving his arms around like it's a possibility. Obviously, Yacobelis very aware of it this time. Now he takes the back. That's a good transition as well.
And again, like I said, hasn't won yet as a pro with only 1 pro fight, but Jack Girard's 4 wins as an amateur were all submissions, so no stranger to this position on the ground game is Jack Girard. Mason Yacobelis is doing a good job of staying out of trouble now, but all it takes right now, it looks like Jack Girard could get that other hook in if he wanted it.
Sometimes tough against the cage, especially where the cage turns to work that angle.
Yeah, Mason doing a good job of using the cage to close that space to make sure he can't put that right leg behind him and sink that other hook in. And Mason needs to, every time he loses that hook, he kind of stands stagnant and lets him get it back. He loses that hook, he definitely needs to move from there.
Not much urgency for Yacobelis to try to get up. It seems like he's just comfortable in this position. I don't think that's a good idea. And now we're seeing Girard start to kind of sink that in. I don't know that he's got under the chin yet, but
yeah, that's I don't know if that's the best position to try to sink that in with no hooks from the side, kind of on his back. Yacobelis will be able to. Oh, he's got that bulldog choke now.
Now he loses position.
Yeah, very nice transition from Mason Yacobelis. Now they've basically traded places.
That was like you just said. That was a poor decision by Girard to try that choke with no control of the body.
Yeah, and he was in position to try to regain a better position. He could have gotten both hooks in a couple of times, I thought, but
you can finish white belts like that. You're not typically finishing professional fighters with that move.
Yeah, not typically. And again, very good transition from Jack Girard. Looked like he was in a little bit of trouble, but goes right back to that guillotine position.
Yeah, this is back and forth.
Yeah, heavy on that head.
I don't like the way Jacobellis defends when he's down. He just kind of turtles up and tries to ride it out. He's got no urgency to really get up, it doesn't feel like.
Yeah, he did that time. He did that 2-on-1 to the wrist, and again, Jack Girard trying to take the back with no hooks in.
We've seen a lot of grappling exchanges and really not much else in this round.
Yeah, another big shot from Mason Jacobellis.
Oh,
another big one. He's out.
That's it.
He's out. Mason Jacobellis with the knockout from the top with the ground and pound. Very, very nice. Boy, referee might have stepped in there about 4 punches too late. That was some big shots.
Right when I said we haven't seen much else, I forgot that we saw the left hand early from Jacobellis on the ground, and then he lands about 3 or 4 big ones in a row.
Yeah, he hit it once and it looked like it stunned Jack Girard, and then followed up with one more, and then that one put him out. And of course, you got to keep punching until the referee stops it. So he did exactly what he's supposed to do. Got on top, threw I think 4 more punches, and all of them landed squarely to the face.
There you go, 2 for 2 on first round finishes.
Yeah, here we go.
I thought we were going to see a second round there.
Yeah, that was nice. It was getting close.
Mason Jacobellis makes sure that we didn't. I like it. He's concerned about my flight.
Yeah.
Here's that first punch he lands.
Yeah, that was a big punch right to the jaw. Jack Girard took it very well, but you can only take so many of those. Good grappling exchanges the whole fight. There he goes with that big punch.
Yeah, that's the punch early in the fight that really stunned him.
Yeah, Jacobellis.
And that was followed up with about 3.5 minutes of these just sort of like a grappling exchange, back and forth, and not much striking, not much damage done, not even really many submissions threatened, other than the one, I think ill-advised attempt. This ill-advised attempt.
Yeah, he kind of tries to switch it to a bulldog choke. Mason Jacobellis almost turned himself into the choke, but able to peek out right there, able to take the back, and this just went back and forth like this right up until Mason Jacobellis, the very next exchange where Mason got on top.
Here comes our finish.
Yeah, that big punch right there stunned him, and you see he gets back, his hands are down, and then that one put him out. Referee steps in, your winner, Mason Jacobellis.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Rob Madrigal calls for a stop to the fight. 4 minutes, 30 seconds into the very first round, declaring your winner by knockout, Mason Jacobellis.
Good win for Jacobellis. He's been looking to get his pro career on track. That may be the thing that sends him in the right direction there. Nice knockout victory in the first round.
Yeah, that puts him at 500. He's 2-2 now, so he's on his way.
Like I said, very pedigreed as an amateur, so it's a guy who's got a lot of the tools.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Ross Hoponiewski.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got something kind of rare for you tonight with on Fury Fighting Championships here. We got a boxing match. As far as I know, the first boxing match in Fury Fighting Championships history.
I think it is.
Ross Hoponiewski, a Chicago police officer. This is Ross's exact words. He said, "My greatest accomplishment is waking up every day and not having an ex-wife taking half my money." So he's very, very proud of that fact. He's very proud of his haircut. He's very proud of his tattoos. He's very proud of his boxing skill. So we're gonna see how he does against Rory Carr. An interesting character in itself.
Yeah, Ross Hoponiewski. Talking to him yesterday, he's an interesting cat. He asked Rory Carr at the weigh-ins yesterday, was the average life expectancy of a giraffe, which I found out was 25 years.
Good to know. Man, even Ross's corner is dressed to the nines,
yes.
Man.
You should have seen him yesterday at weigh-ins. You missed that one, Mike. He looked like the Tiger King. And Rory Carr, an interesting fight. This is his first ever entry into combat sports. He's been training for about 2 months.
Yeah, training for about 4 months or 2 months. He's 44 years old. He is the director of the Dana White Looking for a Fight series. He's been training with Dean Thomas and Jared Gordon. You know, wanted to, you know, he's been directing these shows. Wanted to test his moxie in the ring. Decided to do it in a boxing match here tonight.
He told me yesterday. He said I had 2 bucket list items that I knew I needed to get done before, you know, before it was too late. One of them was directing a movie, which apparently he did last year, and the other was have a fight. And here he is.
Well, here he is. I would venture to say also, Rory Carr with 4 Emmys. He's the first Emmy winner we have in the cage at Fury Fighting Championships.
Now, Ross Hopinevsky does have MMA experience. This is his boxing debut, but he does have MMA experience. I believe 2 fights.
Yeah, so definitely more experience, but...
Now, this is an amateur bout. Be 3 2-minute rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following boxing exhibition is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the Fury Amateur Series lightweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 5 feet 6 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 152.6 pounds, making his amateur debut. This is Ross Hopinevsky. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 6 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 155.2 pounds. He too today makes his amateur boxing debut. This is Rory Carr. Referee Bobby Wambacher with your final instructions.
All right, gentlemen, we've been through the rules in the back. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch them up if you want.
And here we go.
Well, you can't convince these 2 guys this fight doesn't mean anything.
I mean, listen, your amateur debut is, you feel like it's the biggest thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go.
And for the first time, you're about to get punched in the face with by someone with bad intentions.
Yes, somebody wants to hurt you. Somebody wants to embarrass you in front of your friends and your family.
And we got all kinds of things trying to watch the fight. We got bees landing on me.
Good left hook by Hopinevsky.
Yeah, Hopinevsky is landing the punches right now. Looks like Rory Carr is a little bit... He's doing a good job of keeping his hands up. He's got a good boxing stance. It looks like he's got decent fundamentals as far as being in the ring goes. But the name of the game is throwing punches and landing those punches.
Well, and also, you know, most people will tell you who have had a fight. This happens to some people for a long time, but you have an adrenaline dump at some point. You start to get really tired, more tired than you feel like you should be for the amount of time you fought. And Hopinevsky's starting to unload a little bit here.
Yeah, he is landing that left hand over and over. Hopinevsky, the southpaw. So landing that left hand means that that's his power hand. So throwing everything he can into it. Rory Carr a little wobbly up there.
A lot wobbly. And he's starting to be in trouble here. Oh, yeah, he takes a big shot there.
Yeah, he's got to get his hands up or they're going to stop this one.
It is an amateur fight.
Yeah, here he comes back, though, firing back at Ross Hopinevsky.
Ross looks tired.
Yeah.
But he's just landing the bigger shots here.
Yeah, they both look exhausted.
Oh. Carr trying to tie it up again. I think that adrenaline dump's happening. You just saw him take a deep breath, push his mouthpiece out.
Yeah, and that adrenaline dump is real, ladies and gentlemen. You always hope it happens after the fight is over, but that's hardly ever the case.
That's the end of round 1. I'm not a boxing judge, but I would go 10-9 Hopinevsky there.
Yeah, I think Hopinevsky landed the bigger punches.
And we are going to see a second round tonight. I was hoping we wouldn't, but I guess we will.
Yeah, here we go. But it's only 2 minutes, so.
Yeah, I got a flight to catch, as we're saying.
That's all right. I'm here till tomorrow, so y'all can stay with me if you need it. Yeah, Rory Carr came out looking good, had his hands up. Wasn't taking too much punishment, but as the fight wore on, Haponiewski started to land that left hand over and over and over. And Roy Carr doing a good job. You know, with a southpaw fighter, you want to go away from that power hand, and you want to stay with your foot on the outside of his foot. Put you basically out of range for those punches, but Haponiewski finding a home for that left hand over and over. Carr doing what boxers do, though. You start getting in trouble, grab your opponent.
That's the move.
Tie it up. Referee not having it, but doing a good job of keeping them apart.
Here we go, round 2. Carr and Haponiewski.
Ooh, big straight punch.
Oh.
Big straight punch from Haponiewski.
What I like about amateur boxing is it is not technical. These guys are just swinging.
No, this is one level up from a street fight.
And I'm for it.
Yeah, I am too. I love it. The big gloves. Yeah, and both fighters, you can see the gas is running out.
And you see Rory starting to kind of lean in. The problem is if you lean in and you get swung on at the right time, it can be dangerous.
Yeah,
Rory landed some good shots though this round. He didn't land many in the last round. This time he's put a couple good ones on Haponiewski.
Yeah, Haponiewski, you can see, you know, one of the telltale signs of running out of gas is that mouth is open, that mouthpiece is dropped to the bottom teeth. And that's also where you're most likely to get knocked out. Somebody lands on the point of that chin. It doesn't matter how tough you are if that mouth is open. The lights go out and you can't help it.
Oh, Carr breathing heavy too. This is a brawl, my friend.
Yeah, it is. And Carr keeps coming forward, man. He's breathing heavy, but he keeps pushing forward hard right into Ross Haponiewski.
And this cage is bringing such a unique aspect to it. I mean, my first boxing fight in a cage. Oh, big left hand for Haponiewski.
Now, Roy Carr, very tough, man. He's able to take those punches.
I think this is what John McCain called human cockfighting.
Yeah, this is what he was talking about. Man, both fighters just looks like their shoestrings are tied together, just standing in the pocket and just brawling.
About the last 2 minutes of that round, it felt like the rule was left hand, right hand. You couldn't left. It had to be left, right, left, right, left, right.
Yeah.
We will see a third round here. Haponiewski gassed.
Yeah. Haponiewski, I don't think he can believe that he has to go to a third round. Yeah, Haponiewski landed that big left hand over and over. And
I like the pull the head down and punch him in the face move.
Little dirty boxing there from Roy Carr. If nothing else, it's very entertaining, very fun to commentate.
It's very unique.
Yeah,
how about that?
Yeah. Yeah, Haponiewski, a Chicago police officer. I'm sure the people on the force are back there right now watching.
That was a closer round than the first one.
Yeah, I think it may be 1-1. I think it may be.
What I do know, Haponiewski's landing the bigger shots, but the way Rory is fighting, sort of like the put my head down and drive into you style, it worked better in that second round than it did in the first.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you've never experienced what they're experiencing right now, the lungs are tight, you're bleeding a little bit, the arms are heavy, that lactic acid buildup is in those arms. Those gloves, those 16-ounce gloves become very, very heavy. Ross Haponiewski with some quick hands there at the beginning of the third round.
Oh, he's looking for a kill shot.
Yeah, he's looking to finish this.
I don't think he wants to fight for 3 more minutes.
No. Referee doing a good job of making sure the action stays heavy. Here we go, Roy Carr continuing to move forward, continuing to put that pressure on. He's making Ross throw some punches. Rory is staying in the pocket. He is not moving out of that pocket.
You got to give Rory credit. This is for a dude who's never had any kind of a fight. He is game.
Yeah, he is. He's really game. And, you know, he probably knew he was going to take some punishment, but looks like he doesn't care. He's came to fight tonight.
Well, certainly when your technical skill is lacking, guts goes a long, long way.
Yeah. Yeah, toughness, guts, I mean, just the whole thing, you know, and just the wherewithal to be able to stand up there still when you feel like you can't breathe. It takes a lot, and it's a special kind of person to be able to get in there. And the fact that this is, I mean, neither one of these guys have any plans of doing this for a living. They want to get in there, and this is something they wanted to do, and, you know, through their connections, they're able to get it done. And I'm excited about it. I like it.
Both guys land some big shots there.
Yeah.
Boy.
Got about 15 seconds left. Let's see if they tie those shoelaces together and just bang it out for the last 10 seconds. Here we go. Both fighters fighting hard this last 10 seconds. Hapanewski landing a lot of punches there.
Very Hearns Hagler-esque, I must say.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
What a fight. Just two guys going in there and brawling.
What I can say is I've never seen anything quite like that.
Yeah, me neither.
That was fun, though. Cool experience for both guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, whenever after you've been in a fight and you haven't been in many fights, you want to get those gloves off as quickly as possible. This is interesting. I think I probably would go 2 rounds to 1, Hapanewski, but you never know. That third round was pretty close until right there at the end, and Hapanewski started landing some big punches.
Hapanewski certainly landed the cleaner shots in this fight, but I think the judges may, and I don't know what kind of judges these are. I don't know if these are MMA judges or boxing judges. I would assume they're just using the MMA judges and letting them call it, but a lot of the times you see that forward pressure, and that counts for a lot.
Yeah, it does. I mean, especially whenever you are landing some punches and you are causing some damage.
And it's tough. It's tough to score a fight that's really not a technical bout. And this was, well, I'm just put it bluntly, this was not technical at all.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of who you think was the tougher guy, who was landing bigger shots.
Yeah. There we go. The last 10 seconds, very entertaining. Like I said, they're doing the old tire drill. Both people stick their foot in the tire, and let's just throw and see who lands.
Guarantee those guys don't feel like they fought for 6 minutes.
No. They feel like they were fighting for a year in there.
My first amateur fight lasted 90 seconds, and it felt like 30.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
And here we go for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Judge Short scores the fight 29-28, Hapanewski. Judge Abeda scores the fight 29-28, Carr. And Judge Mason scores the fight 29-28, declaring your winner by split decision, Rory Carr!
All right, a little bit of a surprise, but Rory Carr pulls out the win, a split decision.
That's one of those, it's about the experience, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool for both guys to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad this is in front of an audience, so they'll get to enjoy this the rest of their lives.
Hey everybody, I want to thank my PW posse from PW High School. I want to thank Ross for putting on a great fight. I want to thank my coaches, Dean Thomas, Jared Gordon, Sean Carrigan, and Jeff from Jimmo. Hey, I'm 44 years old. I have not a speck of athletic ability. I don't know if anyone saw that. But you know what? If any of you guys out there have a fucking dream, don't be afraid to go for it, all right? Thank you, Dana White, for not firing me from looking for a fight. You've had many opportunities. And I love you, Michelle, and my boys. Thank you.
Great work. Make some noise one more time for your winner, Rory Carr.
Matt Serra impressed.
Yeah, very, very entertaining fight between two guys that that put it all out there on the line. good for both of those guys.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Trujillo.
All right, let's get back to some professional fighting here. How about it? Trujillo, 24 years old, fighting out of Golden Fights Cage War MMA here in Denver, Colorado. Kind of a K1 style of fighter, but also has a wrestling background. He has 3 wins by submission as an amateur. And this dude, very, very strong. This dude has a 300-pound bench press. This dude is one of those guys, carries a lot of muscle. And I saw him fight in his debut, and it didn't look like he ran out of gas. As much muscle as he carries on there, you know, he loves the fact that he has that high bench press for such a small guy. Very entertaining to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing him against Mario Suazo. Making his final preparations here to get into the cage.
First 125ers of the night. We'll see back-to-back 125s. Ben Williford and Isaiah Torres coming up right after this. But these little tornadoes getting in there, and they go at it.
Yeah, the 125, you know, weight class used to take a lot of flack because they were considered not exciting fights. They didn't have knockout power, but that has significantly changed now. There are a lot of 125 knockout artists in the UFC and everywhere else, so the 125 class coming on strong.
Please welcome to the red corner, Mario Suazo.
Yeah, I think the most incredible thing that has come out of the 125 division was there were people who thought that Demetrius Johnson was a boring fighter. I'll never understand it. That guy was a gift.
Yeah, and you know,
not every fight's gonna finish. It's just not.
And it's a combination of things. It's you know, didn't have a lot of finishing power, but had some exciting submission finishes. Remember the flying armbar?
Yep.
Where it wasn't a conventional flying armbar. It was almost a throw into a flying armbar. It was amazing. Just things like that, and then the fact that, you know, Demetrius Johnson is not a guy who's going to go talk a lot of smack. He just goes in there and gets it done. And so I think that's why that people thought it, and I think that's why because the leader of the 125 class wasn't that way, but a lot of guys coming on in the 125 class.
Well, I think Brandon Moreno, another guy who's very exciting, fun guy to watch.
Yeah.
And a guy who won a fight that nobody thought he was going to win. And it's an entertaining division in my mind, especially at the highest levels. And that's why these guys showed up tonight. They want to be at that level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would imagine Dana White was watching that last fight. So we'll see if he's watching this one. Both these guys are 0-1. Still got some work to do before they get to the next level, no matter how this fight goes. But it's a good stepping stone to get your fight record back to 500 very, very early in your career, and it's time they can go on a roll.
The following contest, brought to you by SheathUnderwear.com, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC Flyweight division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighed officially at 124.6 pounds. Fighting out of Grand Junction, Colorado, he holds a professional record of 1 victory, 1 defeat. This is the phenomenal Trujillo. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 125.2 pounds. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, today he seeks his first professional victory. This is Mario Suazo. Your referee in charge of the action, Rob Madrigal.
I've always thought this: if I were a fighter named Mario, my nickname would be Speedwagon. Mario Speedwagon. That's how I'd want to be introduced every time.
He's full of them, ladies and gentlemen.
He ducked into that. He was trying to avoid a kick, and he almost ducked into a knee. But fast start for both guys.
Yeah, Angelo Trujillo, the shorter fighter, standing at 5'4". Mario Suazo at 5'9".
Huge for a flyweight.
Yeah, very big. Yeah, these guys are not playing around. You know, I told you, Angelo Trujillo with that 300-pound bench press, it looks like he's let go of some muscle since the last time I've seen him fight back in September. Looks like he may have been concentrating on something else, but sometimes that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, but you never know. He may have had a hard time. You know, it felt like the weight cut wasn't easy enough for him the first time, so he let go of some of that muscle, but still a very strong, powerful guy. Both these guys going 100 miles an hour right now, just like we said. They're flyweights. This is the way it's going to go. And AJ, you see Mario Suazo with that long reach.
It's fun. I was just noticing there's a big shot landed.
Big shot. Got to jump on there. Got to take advantage of this opportunity right now. Angelo Trujillo going for that double leg.
Yeah, I actually think Suarez made a mistake immediately trying to go to grappling.
Yes.
I think he should have just started hitting him. But what I was saying is Suarez is for the taller guy is fighting short. Like he's ducking down and trying to be the same height. Oh, there's a big shot landed.
Yeah, Angelo Trujillo trying to throw those punches from the bottom. He needs to work on improving his position and get out of this position. Those punches are you know, they're occupying him, you know, very little, not doing much damage.
Yeah, and Suarez,
Suazo.
Yes, excuse me, Suazo. Like he's not a possibility now, but sometimes it's better to welcome that half guard. If a guy can get a half guard, if you're on top half guard, sometimes better than that side mount.
We say it on almost every broadcast. That top side half guard is the best punching position for ground and pound in MMA, in my opinion.
Did a good job of flattening him out, then let him go.
Yeah, he's trying to pull back here, going for that submission. If he can get that arm free, he may have it. This is very, very tight. Very bad spot, flattened out, and Mario Suazo gets the submission by rear naked choke.
Suazo, who hurt him with the hands early. Nice finish. And perfect 3-0 on finishing MMA fights in the first round.
Yep, absolutely. Very nice first round victory for Mario Suazo. Again, may have missed an opportunity there early in the fight with that big flash knockdown, but decided to go to try to submit him. Maybe that was part of their game plans. They wanted the submission. But you see him here. Here comes that big. Landed a right hand there. Nice kick to the body.
Good knee to the body, too. Hope we get a shot of that punch that landed.
Yeah, very nice takedown defense by Angelo Trujillo. Here's that big punch.
Oh, huge right hand. And immediately goes to grappling. That was what I disagreed with. Got the job done either way.
Yeah, had the opportunity early, capitalized on it later on from the same position. Nice win for Mario Suazo.
Here's the finish. See, all he had to do was free that right hand and finished it.
Mario Suazo with a big following here in Denver, Colorado.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes 2 minutes, 30 seconds into the very first round. Declaring your winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Mario Suazo.
I'll tell you this, Mario Suazo is a guy, and obviously with the UFC here, with his frame, he's the kind of fighter at flyweight that the UFC would love to keep an eye on, because there's not many 5'9" flyweights out there in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you've got some skill, they're going to love it.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Ben Williford.
Let's say in that flyweight division, Ben Williford headed out, taking on Isaiah Torres.
Yeah, Ben Williford, 29 years old, fighting out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, strong style fight team. Been off for a little while. Last fight was in November of 2020. He's making his pro debut here, but 6-1 as an amateur. He has a wrestling background. Only has one loss. 4 of his 6 amateur wins or finishes. He's been fighting since 2016. Took him 5 years to make his pro debut, but here he is tonight. What a night to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And 6-1 as an amateur is nothing to sneeze at. That's a very good amateur record. That's the kind of debut that you don't want to sign up to face. A guy who's had 7 amateur fights, because he's probably had enough cage time that he knows what it's like to be in there as a pro. Even though he hasn't done it, he knows.
Yeah, and you know, he took a big hiatus, but you know, you just never know what that's from. You never know. He could have been training that whole time, just made a decision that he was going to get better. Still 29 years old, still in the prime of his fitness career, and so you know, he's, in my opinion, 28 to 34 those are your man years if you're going to be in MMA. In just about anything. I feel like if you're going to hit your peak, it's going to be that. And you see it all the time where guys do it way earlier and maybe fizzle out by then. So it's just you know, everybody's life path is different.
Please welcome to the red corner, Isaiah Torres.
Now the biggest thing about this matchup, AJ, Ben Williford at 5'2", Isaiah Torres at 6 foot. You were just talking about the 5'9" flyweight. He lists himself at 6 foot. I'm looking at him come to the cage.
He's not 6 foot.
I don't know if he's 6 foot. So fighting out of Ultimate Performance of Pueblo. Last fight was in September of this year. He's 1-0. His one win is by KO. He's 7-3 as an amateur. 6 of his 7 wins or finishes as an amateur. Has a great guillotine. So for a wrestler, he has a great guillotine. That's a good combination for a guy who considers himself a wrestler and a guy who has a good guillotine. It's always weird whenever there's at least one fight every time where I'm like, well, they both list at 5'8", and you can obviously see that they're 4 inches difference in height. And one of them or both of them are lying.
You don't have to lie about your height here.
No.
We're not looking to date you.
No.
We're not on Tinder.
No.
He should have a height advantage, though.
He definitely has a height advantage. You can see if he's 5'2", he's probably got a 6-inch advantage, so he may be 5'7" or 5'8".
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by Space City Collective is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC Flyweight Division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 2 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 125.6 pounds. Fighting out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, today he makes his professional debut. This is Ben Williford. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 125 pounds even. Fighting out of Pueblo, Colorado, he holds a professional record of 1 win, no losses. This is Isaiah Torres. Your referee in charge of the action, Joel Ojeda.
And here we go, about 5 on the card. Fury FC 53. Ben Williford, Isaiah Torres, underway.
Here we go. Isaiah Torres with the obvious height and reach advantage. At 5'2", Ben Williford carries a lot of muscle on his body.
Sure. Thick dude.
Yeah, looks like a very powerful fighter. And again, both these guys very, very quick. The lighter guys are so much fun to watch, if for nothing else, just because of the speed at which they fight. And usually cardio is not an issue for these guys.
Nice entry. And on the single leg.
Now Ben Williford pressing Isaiah Torres up against the cage.
Tried to switch to a double, never got his hands around. But he's still doing a good job of holding there. Like you said, the shorter, stouter fighter able to hold the fight there against the cage. Now he's got his hands connected, and he may finish his takedown here.
Yeah, Isaiah Torres making a mistake there about putting his legs together to try to escape from that. But again, those long arms going down to the floor, making it very, very difficult for Ben Williford because of his height, making it very difficult for him to get him to the mat.
Very interesting position here.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen someone have someone in that position and not finish it. had both legs off the ground and was still not able to get him to his back. Isaiah Torres holding himself up there with that one arm. Everything else is he's doing technically perfect. That foot up against the cage, the knee riding up against the fence to make sure that there's no space for your hand to move between there. Doing everything right. This style of fight, though, is a grind.
Oh, for sure.
If you're up against the cage, you know, somebody's weight is pulling down on you constantly. It takes a lot out of you.
Williford throws a big right hand, comes up short on the break. And now Torres kind of stalking him.
Yeah, Torres controlling the center of the cage right now.
Oh, big left hand jumped out there by Williford, sort of stepped into it.
Yeah, if I was Isaiah Torres, I would be firing that jab out constantly to try to keep Ben Williford out of the pocket.
Yeah, you decide where the fight takes place. But again, is it something we noticed in the last fight? The taller fighters getting small to fight these guys. I don't understand it. You use the advantages that you have. Use your length, use your size.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the growth. You know, whenever you've got one fight, one professional fight, I think that's part of what you're learning during this stage of your career is, you know, if you're the taller fighter, how to fight tall and how to keep people at the end of that punch, you know, constantly, especially with such a discrepancy in reach and height as you have in an opponent here. That can be a detriment. In the last place, Ben Williford wants to be right here. He wants to be in the pocket. He wants to be as close as he possibly can. That's the only place he can do any damage.
Yeah, Williford obviously is looking to make this an ugly fight. Isaiah, who should want to stay on the outside and sort of pick this thing apart. Now we're starting to see that a little bit. We hadn't seen it until now. Like this looks like now he's come out of this last exchange, looks a little bit different. But still not pumping that jab and still keeping his shoulders very low.
Those of you wondering at home, Isaiah Torres has those big, deep circles on his back. That is from a therapy technique called cupping, where it's basically a massage. It's a different way to get a massage, but that's what those circles are for on his back. In case any of you are wondering, it's not a Connect 4 tattoo.
Be a whole lot cooler if it was.
I know. I just aged myself. Connect 4.
I actually think Ross Openiewski earlier had a Connect 4 tattoo. Yeah, it feels to me like Williford needs to get back to making this dirty. He needs to be on the inside of the cage, and he gets touched with a left hand there.
Yeah, and immediately goes in for that big overhand right. You can see he wants to feint in. He's trying to land that big overhand punch.
That is the short wrestle boxer 101 move.
Yeah.
Is duck your head and throw a big overhand right, maybe go into a takedown.
Yeah, Isaiah Torres is starting to pick him apart just a little bit now. You can see some marks on the face of Ben Williford.
Williford actually he worked his way inside there and then didn't throw anything.
Yeah, and there he
Until
goes.
he lands a big overhand right again.
Yeah, it didn't look like it had much effect on Isaiah Torres. Ben Williford able to get in a few times, but not able to finish any of those takedowns.
Nope. And we'll go to our first round 2, Mike.
Yeah, our first round 2 of the prelims, except for that wild and crazy exciting boxing match. But here you see Ben Williford coming in on that single leg, and instead of running the pipe and kind of changing directions there, he kind of took him straight back to the cage. And here's what I was talking about. He pulls both legs together and got both feet off the floor, got everything off the floor, and still not able to get him to his back. It's really a matter of direction change there. He kind of kept him over his weight over his hand. Instead of trying to pull him off that hand, if you've got both legs up, simply back up. And I mean, he can only hop on his hand for so long. A couple of good punches landed by Isaiah Torres. Another failed takedown attempt by Ben Williford. But like you said, Ben Williford wanting to take this match to the ground, wanting to make this a dirty fight.
It's a close round either way.
Yeah, it's really close.
But it feels like the guy who needs to make an adjustment is Ben Williford. And maybe that's because the latter half of the round, Torres was in more control.
Yeah, and you see Torres, you know, even his stance is different than I assume it would be against a taller opponent. He's kind of stancing down to his opponent's size, and which makes those legs a little bit harder. I was going to say, if I were Williford's corner, I would say, let's kick those legs. I don't know what his leg kicks are like, but let's kick those legs. He's going to have that big wide stand. He's going to have all of his weight down on him. Let's kick him.
Nice step-in knee there we saw by Torres.
Yeah, he's tried
inside leg kick for Williford.
He's tried that a couple of times, and
he
got it again. That one hurt him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Williford's not doing good now. This is Isaiah Torres landing some big elbows there in that break also.
And Williford with the triple blink trying to get back into it.
Yeah, the long triple blink. Isaiah Torres got those hands down in his waist. He's got to be careful. Yeah, there you go again with that leg kick.
Ooh, nice step in left hook.
Yeah, and those punches are those overhand punches from Williford are just missing. And
nice takedown.
Yeah, very nice takedown. That time he changed directions. He ran the pipe like you're supposed to run the pipe. He didn't allow him to keep his weight over the top of that leg and was able to get him flat on his back.
And that's another example of where the stance that Torres fights with is not beneficial, because like you said, his legs are so spread apart, and that front leg, he's heavy on it. It's easy for him to grab that leg and suck it up.
Yeah, Williford got a big cut on his head now, I assume from those elbows from that break earlier.
He's got to really make some hay right here while he's got this good position.
Yeah, he cannot give this position up. This is I think from watching the fight so far, it looks like this is the only position that Ben Williford's going to be able to win this fight from, if it keeps going the same way it has been.
He's keeping that left leg straight instead of trying to slide across or even slide into half guard, which is interesting. Maybe he is looking for a crucifix. So, and he's got it.
I might let it go there.
And now that he's seen that crucifix, now I'd rather see him slide that left knee across and control the lower body and do some damage.
Yeah, got to be careful here. You can't throw punches to the back of the head. You know that back of the head is wide open.
Oh, and he goes for that crucifix again.
Yeah, he's got it again. You could tell this was Ben Williford's. This was the game plan. They're going to get him down to the ground. They saw something on some tape that they thought they could get this crucifix and ground and pound this fight to a victory.
Torres doing a good job, though, of not leaving his face exposed for too long. His body's shrimping away. He's gonna eat some shots here until he can get his arm free, but we haven't really seen a super damaging blow just yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing is whenever, all he has to do is stop defending himself. The blows don't have to be that damaging.
You're right.
Those point on the elbow right to the head, that's definitely looks like those are the type of punches you get cut open from.
He needs to explode and turn him. Easier said than done, I know.
Yeah, this is a dominant round by Ben Williford so far. Ever since they've been down in this position, Isaiah Torres, no answer.
Obviously why he was looking for that takedown early in the fight. This is his path to victory.
Yeah, this is where Ben Williford obviously shines. He's down on the ground. He is landing some hard elbows.
We're starting to see some violence now, and this is that he's protecting with his fingertips.
Yeah, Ben Williford doing a great job. You can see he's practiced this crucifix quite a bit because it looked like Isaiah Torres was almost out just now. Just a simple turn of the hips, and it puts pressure on that arm where you can't go any further.
And there's potential. I mean, I don't know what his jiu-jitsu game's like, but there's potential for sort of a key lock on that left arm, or on the right arm, excuse me.
Yeah,
on his head side.
Yeah, and him being the bigger, stronger guy, not the taller guy, but the stronger guy with those shorter limbs. I mean, he can get a lot of leverage on there, and there he goes for it right now. He's got that figure four locked up.
No, but he just wants to keep that arm exposed. He wants to keep with the elbows. Oh, that was the closest we've seen Isaiah come to getting out of that position.
Yeah, and I don't know if this keeps going like this. This could easily be a 10-8 round.
Now he moves to mount.
Yeah, he's got to do something from up here. I really don't. In MMA, the mount position is one of those positions where you can finish from or you can get rolled from. So he's doing a good job of controlling so far. But I think he was doing more damage when he had that crucifix.
I think he may have been frustrated that he didn't get a stoppage there, so thought maybe he'd change something up. But clearly a guy who's got some good top control, good wrestling background. What a dominant round for Ben Williford.
Yeah, that may be a 10-8 round for Ben Williford, and if that's the case, I mean, this third round becomes all more important.
Isaiah Torres cannot let this fight go back to the ground.
No.
It's obvious that is not where his bread is buttered.
No, not at all. No, big round for Ben Williford. You know, got hurt a little bit early in the round. Was going in there attacking. That knee right there kind of hurt him.
That rocked him.
Yeah, you could see him retreating back. He was retreating straight back, hoping to get to the cage and kind of tie up Isaiah Torres.
You know, that may prevent it from being a 10-8 round. It seemed like he was on the ground for so long, but you have to remember about the first minute of that round, he was really in some trouble.
Yeah, and there's two types of judges. There's the judges that will take in the whole round and consider all of it, and then there's the judges that only see the last thing they saw.
I'll be honest, I'd kind of forgotten that knee happened in this round until I saw the replays. That was at the beginning of this round.
Yeah.
So there was some moments in this round for Isaiah Torres, but it just felt like that last 3 minutes, it felt like an hour.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did for him too.
Oh yeah, and you know his corner told him that this has got to stay on the feet and you have got to keep peppering him on the feet. Do not go to the ground. You can see he's taking every defense mechanism he can right now, right from the start, to make sure that Ben Williford is a little tentative to come in there with that takedown.
Except pumping a jab. He's still not doing that. I don't get it.
Yeah, that
when you
jab,
have that advantage, use it. Oh, he missed the knee, went for it, and it put him in a takedown position.
Did Isaiah Williford grab the cage to avoid the takedown?
You know what? If he did, you don't.
Yeah, let's look at the replay. I want to see if he.
Oh, they're taking a point away.
Oh, they're taking a point. Yeah, he almost.
Let's see.
Sure, they weren't calling him a grounded opponent there.
No,
oh yeah, you see him grabbing the pad. He's grabbing the pad right there to avoid the takedown.
Well, Isaiah Torres needs a finish now.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like stopping the fight in the middle of a takedown attempt, because there's a possibility that he could have finished that takedown. But Torres certainly needs to finish now. And you know what? If you do stop the action there, maybe it is appropriate to take a point away, because Ben Williford, he had a real opportunity to finish that takedown and be back in control.
Yeah, that was a good call
I'd prefer to let the fight go on a little bit and see if he finishes the takedown and then stop it and make your decision. But if you do stop it, I think you almost have to take the point away.
Yeah, the downside of that is if he stuffs the takedown, he doesn't get it down, and then in the very next punch is a knockout punch, and you know then it's really tough, and he loses the fight because maybe Ben Williford stopped because he was grabbing the cage. So I think he did the right thing there, and I think you have to err on the side of caution there.
Isaiah Torres needs to start getting desperate here. I mean, now he's lost that point. We talked about it could have been a 10-8 round last round. I mean, the only way for him to win this fight is to finish it, and he seems like he's got 3 more rounds to go. He doesn't. He's got 3 more minutes to go.
Yeah, and again, I can't say it enough. He'll watch this replay and he'll look at it. He needs to pump that jab. Beautiful trip by Ben Williford.
And he's grabbing the fence again.
Yeah. Isaiah Torres better be careful, or there'll be no sense in even finishing the fight. This will be a 29-20 finish.
Williford moves to that half, steps over, out of guard. I think a wise choice, and he's in a really good position here.
Yeah, he needs to let go of that wrist and start throwing punches toward his head. He's a little bit short on position to be able to reach effectively from there, but now you can see from that half guard position, again, best punching position from the ground in my opinion.
I'm with you, and I think it's like he's looking to sweep him back down flat, but I think he's got some opportunity to throw some left hands here. He may be trying to tie up that right hand with his right hand and throw that left,
yeah,
which
that's
is exactly what he did.
Yeah, and that leverage is so hard to get out. Isaiah Torres is able to do it, but back to the standing position. He's got to be careful playing with fire over there a little bit. I mean, if after having a point taken, I don't think I'd have my hands on the cage at all.
I think he's trying to make sure he stays grounded, make sure he doesn't catch a knee there, but that's the move. Why, if his hands are down, keep his legs up and punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Because he's got to use his hands to block his face. Something he didn't do that first round.
Yeah, Ben Williford kind of taking over this fight. Point or no point taken. This has been Ben Williford's second and third round.
You know what? Really a credit to his coaches, but after that first round, saying this is what you need to do differently. And we said he needed the adjustments more And kudos to him and his coaches for making those adjustments. And he has dominated this fight since. And he can make it a finish here.
Yeah, he deserves it, man. He deserves a finish here. I hope he gets it.
I mean, Torres, he's basically trying to survive now. There's nothing right now that says Torres thinks he's going to win this fight.
No, he's not even attempting to get up. So, you know, I think if he were to, one more flurry like that with 5 or 6 punches may end this fight.
Down to 1 minute to go, under 1 minute.
And Williford just doling out punishment from everywhere. The knee to the ribs from the side. In half guard on the top. Great punching position. Great control so far.
Grabbing that neck right now does nothing. He's actually putting himself in a worse position here.
Yeah, Ben Williford almost had that crucifix again.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, this is a great example of making an adjustment and really controlling the fight.
Those are big shots to the rib cage right there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never had a knee hit that floating rib. And again, Isaiah Torres trying to put his feet in the cage now to turn off. I think this is a clear victory for Ben Williford, winning the second round big. Isaiah Torres with that point taken away in the 3rd round, but lost the 3rd round also. So definitely a 10-8 in the 3rd round.
After the 1st round, or you would have never thought that this was going to be a lopsided fight, and it got lopsided in a hurry.
No, you can see right there Isaiah Torres grabbing the inside of the pad. Referee sees it. He did let it go for just a second to see kind of what was going to happen, and once it felt like he wasn't going to get the takedown, looks like he stopped it then.
But I agree, you saw he had the leg up. He was on his way to a takedown, so I think you have to take a point away if you stop that action, because Williford looked like he was going to finish that takedown.
Oh, yeah. And not just that, the other fighter knows that if that takedown happens, he's probably not getting back up. Beautiful sweep beautiful trip by Ben Williford there, and then it was just this for the rest of the fight. And those big knees coming from side control. Did this a few times tonight. Those knees landing right on that floating rib. Very, very painful. Got to be a disappointing night for Isaiah Torres.
Yeah, like I said,
controlling that fight.
The first round, he had to feel good. I think that really he's got to learn to fight with his body type, and it cost him there. Right?
Yeah.
There's certain things you've got to do as a taller fighter. I never fought anyone shorter than me.
Yeah.
Jabs and leg kicks you have to keep guys away from you.
Yeah.
Because that
absolutely.
overhand right and that dive-in takedown is really the weapons that you're fighting against.
Yeah.
And if you keep them far enough away, those things don't matter.
Yeah.
He's going to learn from this experience, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. With scores of 30-26, 29-27, and 30-26. Your winner by unanimous decision, Ben Williford.
Yeah, big win for Ben Williford. Like we said, that first round was almost all Isaiah Torres, but from the second round on, no doubt, Ben Williford all the way.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Joseph Gallaudez.
Get a little bigger here. Joseph Gallaudez and Joseph Garcia. Joe on Joe crime.
Yeah. Joseph Gallaudez, 31 years old, 5'8", fighting out of Pariah MMA in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Last fight was in April of this year. He's got a pro record of 2-3, but he started 2-0. He's actually on a 3-fight losing streak. And again, we've talked about this a lot tonight, AJ. You become 2-0 as a pro. You start having trouble getting fights, or you get overconfident in the fights that you're in because you're fighting guys who are also debuted. You just never know whenever you're fighting against the next Alex Morano, the next, we said this last time. John Jones made his amateur debut and his pro debut at one time, and somebody had to fight him.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that was not a good night for whoever that was. But you just never know, and so your confidence in your ability has to stay high. And you know, you have to just stay with your fundamentals. Keep fighting the way you fought for those 2 fights, and just make sure that you're improving in every fight. And so, you never know what it has to do with a losing streak. A lot of people get on them. The best fighters in the world have been on them. Charles Oliveira has 10 losses. So, I mean, who's going to say Charles Oliveira? You know, he was on. I think he's been on a 2 or 3 fight losing streak before, and now he's a champ. So it doesn't matter. I'm not saying he can't come back from it. Just saying, 2-3 record doesn't mean much. I'm always looking forward to getting that back to 500.
Welcome to the red
John
corner.
Blachowicz was almost washed out of the
Garcia.
UFC.
Yeah.
It can change in a hurry. And here comes Joseph Garcia. Garcia's team making the late entry. Factory X crew.
Yeah, Factory X. You know, they're putting out some talent these days. They had an opponent switch. This fight was actually both guys were supposed to fight somebody else tonight, and ended up with each other on their tray.
That's happened to me before as well.
Yeah, and these, you know,
You've sold your tickets, you've done all the training. Well, you want to fight someone else or not fight?
yeah,
You
and
fight.
you know, you never know what this is. It's a, you know, it's a combat sport. You know, it's one of the few sports that, you know, you're fighting, and you know, you're fighting to train for it also. And so things can happen. People get cut. You know, people get sick. People get all these things, and so you just never know. You got to be one of those guys ready to go, no matter who it is, no matter when it is. You got to be ready, especially on a night like this.
Exactly. You know, you got to know who your audience is, and you know that they appreciate it when you're willing to get in there and do it.
The following contest, brought to you by Odyssey Beer Works in Arvada, Colorado, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC at a catch weight of 160 pounds. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet, 9 inches tall, and weighed in at 159.8 pounds. Fighting out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, he holds a professional record of 5 wins, 3 losses. This is Joseph Gallaudez. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet, 8 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 159.8 pounds. Fighting out of Inglewood, Colorado, today he seeks his 3rd victory as a professional. This is Joseph Garcia. Your referee in charge of the action, Bobby Wambacher.
Here we go, Joseph Garcia versus Joseph Gallaudez. Joseph Gallaudez in the black trunks, Joe Garcia in the white. Joe Garcia coming out immediately with that long jab. Fighting from that southpaw stance is Joseph Garcia. Joe Gallaudez fighting from a conventional stance, looking very relaxed in there.
Gallaudez, it's like he's leaning back when he throws everything, so none of it's coming in full force. He's almost like he's pulling back, and maybe that's, you know, his way of testing range, testing distance. But even on that kick, you see him kind of hop away when he throws the kick.
Yeah, he kind of gets tall and kind of pulls his head back whenever he throws those kicks.
That landed, and Gallaudez ate it and gets a takedown off of it.
Yeah, he's got his head now. Goes for a knee there. Both fighters going to the ground now. Joe Garcia on top. Gallaudez back to his feet.
I like that Gallaudez didn't try to mess around with, like, you know, pulling a guard. He got his back to the cage and got up.
Yeah, Gallaudez lands a pretty good overhand left there. Kind of stunned Joe Garcia a little bit. Well, we know what Joe Garcia wants to do. He wants to land that head kick, and he wants to finish in outstanding fashion tonight. He wants that highlight reel knockout. Gallaudez staying tall in there. Both fighters staying pretty active. Gallaudez has got to be careful coming in there with his hands down, trying those body shots.
And his chin up.
Yes.
Hands down, chin up.
Yeah, he stepped right in the pocket, put his hands down, his chin up, and went for that body shot and missed. And Garcia barely missed a shot right on the point of the chin.
Good body work, though, when he does land it. Just got to protect himself when he's going for it. Gallaudez now throws a high kick. Oh, that left hook kind of wrapped around, hit him in the back of the head, stumbled him for a minute.
Again, both fighters starting to land here. It looks like both these fighters, they want the knockout. Good left hand by Gallaudez, or by Garcia. Ooh, another good left hand by Gallaudez now. These guys are starting to get some good punching exchanges. Both fighters landing, kind of punching each other with a left at the same time. When you have this southpaw versus conventional fighter, it's a little odd for when you're fighting. I'm a southpaw fighter, and so I'd rather fight another southpaw fighter, but it just doesn't happen very often. But both guys have an open side whenever you're fighting a southpaw against conventional. You see, they're both kind of susceptible to the same thing.
The striking style for Gallaudez is just, it's interesting to me because it seems like he's just not laying into anything, and that's the first time he did, and he gets his leg swept up.
Yeah, it just wasn't a real calculated, structured punch. It was kind of a wing, throwing it out there. And Garcia saw it coming from a mile away, now sitting on the single leg, trying to change directions here to run the pipe. No success. Good takedown defense by Gallaudez.
Gallaudez needs to put that arm in there. It'll work. So he put his arm on top of his leg and get an actual underhook there.
Yeah, instead he's pushing down with his elbow on that arm, and he's to swim that arm inside. And the name of the game in the clinch game is who has the inside grips.
30 seconds to go in round one. Another kick lands, but it's caught. Oh, Gallaudez lands a right hand. Both these guys eating some good shots here.
Yeah, and that, as far as that head kick goes, he landed, but he stopped the kick whenever it hit. And so whenever you're throwing those head kicks, you want to kick through your opponent's head. You want to kick through the other side of where their head is and use that momentum to kind of turn you around or to move to the next position. Or if it lands in that case, that's the style of kick that has a huge knockout power.
We'll see a round two here between Gallaudez and Garcia.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened with Gallaudez. He was walking a little bit funny, and I saw him shaking his leg just a little bit. Looks like his cup was falling out. Has some decent punches, but like you said, Gallaudez kind of with his chin up, kind of sitting back on those punches. Garcia with a nice head kick there. Both fighters landing. Both fighters are active. Both fighters landing. There you see a decent left hook from Garcia. Nice body kick from Garcia, followed up with a right hand by Gallaudez.
Hard to say who won that round.
Yeah, there's that big overhand right by Gallaudez that Garcia saw coming from a mile away. And you see he stopped that head kick there and was able to step down out of it. And usually if you're able to step down out of your kick, that means there wasn't a lot of power behind it. And in that case, that might have been a finisher. It landed pretty flush on the cheekbone of Gallaudez. Good jabs coming from Garcia to start the second round. Decent clinch work from both guys here. Both guys, yeah.
I like throwing that knee there, but it set him up now for maybe a takedown. And yep, Garcia gets the takedown, but up against the cage again. Let's see if Gallaudez does a good job getting up like he did earlier in the fight.
Yeah, Garcia doing a good job of trying to pull those legs out. You want to get those legs between your legs and elevate the feet if you can. It's a better control position, and once you're there, you don't have to worry about the legs anymore. Basically, that the burden becomes on the person on the bottom trying to get those legs out. And in the meantime, they're usually taking some punishment. Gallaudez with a very tall stance, not putting a lot behind his punches.
Like I said, I mean, he almost steps back when he throws. It's hard to generate. It's hard to generate as much power when that's the style. And I know you want to get out of there as soon as you throw, but you got to make sure you land effectively. There's another high kick. That one kind of slaps him, and he goes low.
Yeah, it looks like Garcia's corner has probably told him, hey, we want to concentrate on these kicks. He's not really checking them. Immediately lands a few leg kicks and then big uppercut from Garcia. A little off the mark. See if we can get the trip here. We saw it a couple times in the last fight. Instead of putting him up against the cage, you get him in the middle and kind of kick that. Once you get that one leg elevated on that single leg, kind of kick the other one out from under him.
I would have liked to see him throw something off that. He pushed his head back and had a chance to land a big shot on the break and didn't do anything.
Yeah, kind of a display of strength there, but that's not what we're doing here. Should have thrown something off that break. Anytime you kind of move slowly and push somebody slowly with your hands down, they're going to return fire immediately. Almost a low blow there from Gallaudez. Garcia shaking it off.
Another head kick.
Yeah, Garcia's starting to land a little bit more. Went in for that takedown. Gallaudez did a good job of foiling that. Let's see if he pushes him off again and see if he's able to throw something from the break this time. Again, hands extended out. Nice punches from both guys. Kind of doing some dirty boxing, exchanging dirty boxing there.
Left hand connects for Gallaudez.
Yeah, but again, he was kind of off balance.
He was on his right foot.
Yeah, on his right foot.
Left foot in the air.
Off balance, and so there wasn't a lot of power behind it. You know, it's one of those punches, if you squat down on it and you're able to land it and throw it correctly off that back foot, those are devastating punches. I just get the feeling one of these guys is going to land a one-punch knockout here any minute now. These guys are just throwing bombs at each other. Gallaudez landing some effective punches now. Kind of stunning Garcia. You can see he's running out of gas just a little bit.
Oh, big left hook.
Yeah, and again, he's slowing down. He needs to get back in his face and just continue that barrage. Gallaudez kind of picking Garcia apart now.
Well, Gallaudez fighting with his hands at his hips. Sacrificing defense for offense right now. He may want this fight to get ugly.
Yeah, well, he's getting it. Yeah, very nice combination there from Gallaudez. Gallaudez kind of slapping those hands out of the way and opening up the face of Garcia. Garcia feeling like he's in a little bit of trouble now, so up against the cage right in front of our booth. Trying to secure that takedown. Gallaudez doing a good job of hooking that leg. Both fighters looking pretty busted up now. Garcia with a lot of blood coming out of his nose. Just lands a big knee right to the chest of Gallaudez. Those kind of knees to the chest, those kind of things, those are the kind of things that hurt tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can't figure out why it hurts to touch your chest. Oh yeah, I was in a fight yesterday.
And we'll see you round 3 here.
Man,
it's not pretty.
Yeah, I don't know how to call this one either. This is another one of those fights that...
This is almost like the MMA version of the boxing match we saw earlier. It is just, it's a brawl. And it's going to be a matter of if somebody can, if both guys hold up, it's going to be a really tough call for the judges.
Yeah, there's that head kick. And again, Garcia kind of using those head kicks to kind of slap Gallaudez instead of kicking through his head like you're supposed to do. That's what, you know, every martial arts instructor, every Muay Thai instructor will tell you. You're kind of kicking through their head. You know, he's not turning over his hips really well through those kicks. He's kind of just throwing them up.
Yeah, but neither guy really using all of their body with any of these strikes.
No.
You know, we've talked about Gallaudez a few times. It's a lot of arm punches and you know, walk like fadeaway kicks. You could argue that, you know, that not all of Garcia is going into these shots either, especially as the fight's going on.
Yeah, Garcia getting busted up here a little bit in the second round. You can see that shot, that left hand from Gallaudez stunned him a little bit. He got a little wide-eyed and had to remember where he was there for a second.
But again, if Gallaudez sits down on that punch, that could be a fight ender.
Yeah, Garcia's taken several shots that should have been fight enders. And he's also doled out some kicks that should have been fight enders.
Here we go, round 3 underway. This 160-pound catchweight fight, our 6th bout of the evening.
Yeah, really loose and, you know, and half-hearted takedown attempt from Garcia.
That was a mistake by Gallaudez, and he may luck out of it there, but he almost gave himself up there.
Yeah, and there's a couple of spots in this fight. Yeah, and Gallaudez was kind of lazy on that takedown defense there and gave up his back.
Didn't cost him the first time, did cost him this time. And now it feels like this is where Garcia's been trying to get the fight. And another good job by Gallaudez.
Yeah, Gallaudez, you know, I'll give it to him. He's got good takedown defense. And when he does get taken down, he's able to get back up. And I don't know, you know, what the skill level is of Joe Garcia, but, you know, on the ground. But those are opportunities that you have to take advantage of whenever you give them, because in a fight like this, you just never know when you're going to get another opportunity. Garcia trying to throw that knee up there and kind of follow his head around with it. That takedown from a long ways away.
Yeah, that takedowns are getting sloppy, and he's going to get punished for it here, it looks like.
Yeah, Gallaudez needs to get off of his bottom leg. He needs to get out. I don't understand why he's doing that. He needs to get off of his bottom leg and kind of pull that bottom leg out to make sure that he didn't go it, you know, not affecting him. He got back up to his feet.
Yeah, that's the right takedown defense here. Now that lands some elbows.
Yeah, Gallaudez is pretty content with just pushing him down and kind of defending those takedowns independently from striking at all. I don't know what he's doing here. This is not a position you want to.
That's not a submission attempt. I
no.
mean, it's a.
And like I said, Gallaudez just pushing his head, you know, kind of treating those takedown defenses and those stand-ups as a separate event from the fight. And, you know, he's missing out on some opportunities to throw some punches from there.
In a fight where I honestly have no idea who's winning right now. You got a chance to land some real damage.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, Garcia, even though he hasn't done much with him when he got down, he does have some takedowns. You know, he has landed some big punches.
Well, and the last takedown from Garcia was the sloppiest one. You have to make him pay for that.
Yep. Yeah, Garcia landed a couple of big punches there, finding a place for that left hook. Garcia feigning that takedown again and then trying that uppercut. Yeah, both guys getting very sloppy. A little over 2 minutes left in the fight. Both these guys are extremely tired, extremely gassed.
Oh, back elbow from Gallaudez. Lands a nice jab there.
Yeah, Gallaudez kind of taking this over now. He's piecing Joe Garcia up. Joe Garcia coming back, though. Very nice. Gallaudez has got to be careful keeping his hands out there. Yeah, again, this is one of those positions, AJ. Gallaudez has got to make him pay for this position.
He needs to throw that elbow on the head. And he's willing to just let him back up.
And again, he let him come back up without throwing a punch. Garcia's both hands were on the ground. You can't kick an opponent there, but you can definitely punch him. And he let him get back up. Yeah, he let him get back up. Another missed opportunity by Gallaudez. But again, you can see both fighters are extremely gassed. Now Garcia just going in for takedowns to try to hide his head. And Gallaudez looking like he's content with him just being there.
Oh, there's an opportunity.
Yeah, this might end it right here.
Well, he could improve his position here, move more to his back, and there he starts to.
Yeah, or switch sides, and you know this side is wide open. He's got that. Got to be careful with that body lock. Just squeeze the knees together.
This might be the most significant thing that's happened in this fight. And if this is a close fight, this is I mean, Gallaudez may be swaying the judges right here.
Yeah, and I think he's definitely won the third round. I think especially here at the end. And this may be it. Yeah, he may get a finish here.
Yeah, it was over the chin, but.
Yeah, Garcia doing a good job of staying out of the submission, but now he's mounted, and for the last 10 seconds or so, he's going to take a lot of punishment, I would assume, if Gallaudez has got the gas for it. Ooh, big elbows from the top.
Well, that was a fist fight, friend.
That was. Gallaudez finished very, very strong. I think he may have won the fight, but
yeah. Let's take a look at some of this action in the third round. Yeah, the third round takedowns were just not crisp.
No.
And those are called cardio takedowns.
Yep.
When you're out of gas and you're like, I'm tired of getting punched in the face, you fall back to that, and to his credit, he didn't have to take too much damage, mostly because Gallaudez didn't take advantage of it. But when guys start shooting those cardio takedowns on him, that's when you need to really unload. Gallaudez didn't, and was at least the last one he was able to get a good position and really kind of take over the round. But I've got no idea how those first couple rounds were scored. This is going to be a tough call.
Yeah, this is going to be a close fight, I would think. This may be a split decision, but yeah, I think there at the end, Garcia, even though he was doing those cardio takedowns, he still had the opportunity to win the fight in a couple of instances, and just wasn't able to capitalize on it, either because he didn't see it or he was too tired to take advantage of it. Yeah, dominating third round for Joe Gallaudez. Taking a little while to get those scorecards up there. They must be thinking about it the same way we were.
A lot of math involved now.
Yeah.
Let's go to Wade for the official decision, if we can get Garcia up off the stool, and we will. These guys are worn out.
Yeah, Joe Garcia having trouble walking out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. With scores of 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28, your winner by unanimous decision, Joseph Gallaudez.
That was a hard-fought, ugly fight. Somebody had to win it. Joseph Gallaudez, I think the late advantage that he had in that last round kind of sealed the deal for him.
Order Daniel Rojas.
The guys behind us don't think very highly of Joseph Gallaudez.
Yeah. Makes me wonder if they're fighters or not, because, the typical armchair quarterback, they don't want to be in the ring. They want to tell what they would do, but could never actually do it. I haven't got a chance to turn around and look at them yet, but maybe a future opponent for Joe Gallaudez. But right now we got Daniel the Huntsman Rojas, 29 years old, 5'9", fighting out of Colorado Springs, born in Mississippi, fighting out a team victory over there with Gilbert Jamal Smith. Last fight was in August of this year. His pro debuts, 2-0 as an amateur. Taekwondo black belt, and has a background in wrestling. His 2 amateur wins, one was a finish, one was a decision. In his amateur fighting career, though, he beat a 6-1 Ulysses Molina in his amateur debut. So he was 0-0 and beat a 6-1. So
wow.
Only been fighting since March. So brand new to the MMA program, brand new to MMA, but very hungry guy fighting out of a pretty solid team over there with Gilbert Smith. Making his way into the cage. Looks very focused.
Please welcome to the red corner, Gino Schwedev.
Gino Schwedev, we saw him last time we were here. He's one of my favorite fighters on the card, and for a very separate reason from fighting. You know, fighting out of that Factory X Muay Thai over there, he's 1-1. Last fought here in September. This guy has spent a little time in prison, had a little bit of trouble, had a drug addiction, and you know, of course, the fighting helps him as he comes out. But this guy is also the founder and director of Hazelbrook Sober Living and Recovery, and has dozens of houses all over Colorado and supports people with addiction problems, domestic violence, all these other things, and is open to these Paradigm One. It's called Paradigm One, but it's a nonprofit that offers boxing, yoga, fitness, and peer support, jiu-jitsu, peer support for recovering addicts, for people with PTSD, for people with all kinds of problems. So a guy that had some trouble in his life and bounced back in a way where he's decided he wanted to take that and help people.
Very cool story.
Yeah, very cool story. He's a good dude to talk to. He's a very smart guy, and he's another one of those guys that, you know, he just loves fighting. You're going to see a very tough guy in here, coming in here in Gino Schwedev.
Yeah, Gino on the card in September as well. 2-0 versus 1-1. We got a banger here, guys. This ought to be good. You see Daniel Rojas didn't quite hit the required weight, coming in at 139.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. You know, I don't know what the, again, there's all kinds of reasons for not making weight.
No, there's not.
And it's up to, well, you know, there's not. I don't know if this is a short notice fight. I don't know what the particulars was of this fight, but there's no excuse for it. There's all kinds of reasons I'm sure that he gave, though. Just a bad night to do it with Dana White.
Brought to you by Space City Collective is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC Bantamweight division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet, 9 inches tall, and he weighed in at 139 pounds even. Fighting out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, he holds a professional record of 2 victories, no defeats. This is Daniel Rojas. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 135.4 pounds. Fighting out of Moscow, Russia, by way of Inglewood, Colorado, he holds a professional record of 1 victory, 1 defeat. This is the Russian concussion, Gino Schwedev. Your referee in charge of the action, Joel Ojeda.
Maybe the best nickname on the card tonight, Gino Schwedev.
This is one of the fights I was most looking forward to. This ought to be a good one. Here we go.
Yeah, Gino coming out immediately on target with a couple of punches. Again, Gino throwing those kicks without really setting them up, kind of throwing straight to the head.
Oh, good shot to the body. That landed
that one hit
flush.
him in the liver. Yeah, he may be sucking wind over there.
Oh,
right
but
now.
he lands.
He lands. Big
Shot's hurt.
Big shot by Daniel Rojas. Schwedev is hurt. Daniel Rojas has got that guillotine. If he can wrap that up, that's very, very tight. This is a bad position for Gino Schwedev.
Schwedev needs to push the face down, something.
Yeah, he's got to get that elbow up above the shoulder of Daniel Rojas. He's got to push that up. It looks like he may be able to get out of this. His hairline's starting to show.
Yep. He's got the hands separated, so he'll survive this, and he'll end up in a top position, but he was rocked.
Yeah, very tough there from Gino Schwedev.
Great opening minute.
Yeah. Yeah, Daniel Rojas landed a big hand that just starched Gino Schwedev and stopped him right in his tracks. Wasn't able to finish it, got him in that guillotine, but again, maybe should have kept punching from that position. He was in the top. Gino was going for that cardio takedown that we talked about earlier and decided to go with that guillotine, and Gino just very, very tough, very good guillotine defense, was able to separate those hands and get out. Now he's sitting on top. See how long it takes him to recover from that from being that flash knockdown.
I think this may be a sign of the inexperience of Rojas. The closed guard is not something you want to work with here, and he's finally opening it up a little bit. You just need to worry about getting up. Like, closing his guard and controlling posture is great for a jiu-jitsu match, but there's really no place for it here. He needs to get some separation and get up.
Yeah, especially after he's already proven that he can punch Gino into, and that he can knock him out.
Well, because now no matter what, he's in a bad spot.
Yes.
He's not winning the fight now, which is, after landing a shot like that, you should be winning the fight. You've got to get back up on your feet here. And it's impossible to get up on your feet when you've got a closed guard.
Yeah. And the closed guard position is, like you said, it's not an extremely effective position for MMA unless you're setting up submissions. But again, you got to unlock those legs. You will not submit someone from the closed guard. And if you do, that person does not belong in there with you.
No.
Gino doing a good job of controlling the match from the top here.
Yeah, good job recovering and surviving that guillotine attempt. And that can all be forgotten if he finishes the round in this position.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a tough round to call if it finishes here.
Well, the truth is he landed a big shot himself early on. That liver kick, that sent him back to the cage.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The punch Daniel Rojas landed that stopped Gino was a desperation punch for sure. Because I'm not 100% sure he could breathe. And I don't know how much that was affecting him during that guillotine, trying to pull on that neck. I don't know how much that affected him, but definitely caused him some pain when it happened. And if any of you at home are doubting that, stand up with whoever you got in the room with you and let him punch you in the liver.
Please don't do that. Don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah, kids excluded.
Yeah, this is another example of why this closed guard. I mean, he's right by the cage. He's got to unlock his legs. He's got to work his back up against the cage and get up, because he's letting all that damage that he did early in this round go to waste, because he's now losing this round.
Yeah, Gino Schwedev, I'm sure, as long as he wants to keep him in the closed guard, he's happy here. He's just doling out punishment, and even from the bottom, there's no submission attempts. There's no attempt at strikes. There's nothing.
This is not Royce Gracie's UFC.
No.
Times have changed. You've got to unlock your legs. You've got to get up.
Yeah. Looks like this will be our last card of last fight of the prelims.
Yeah, you'll be able to switch over to UFC Fight Pass after this one. Catch all the main card action.
So much for you catching that plane.
Well, if these guys would hurry up and get these fights over with.
Yeah, very entertaining first round. Gino Schwedev started out with a bang and then got caught. And we'll take a look at it here. Gino coming in and landing a big shot there, overhand right. You'll see that body kick right there. You see it. I just took all the air out. You see when that elbow goes straight down to the side to make sure that doesn't happen again.
You're protecting your body, yeah.
Protecting that body.
But watch, here's the big punch. Boom.
Boom. Yeah, big shot from Daniel Rojas.
The ref thought about finishing that. He's thought about stopping it there.
Yeah, that's a big right hook from Daniel Rojas, landed right on point. And then goes for that guillotine here. Just kind of stretching him out just a little too far. Wasn't able to keep his hands. And then the rest of the match was the rest of the round was just like this. Gino Schwedev on top. Doling out the ground and pound. Here we go to the second round. Between rounds, the doctor had to come in and look at Rojas's eye there. Got a big whelp there on his eye. It doesn't look like anything to be concerned about to me, but Schwedev with another takedown attempt here. He's almost got it. And after the first round, I'm sure this is exactly where he wants it to go.
Absolutely.
If Daniel Rojas is just going to keep him in close guard on his back the whole time.
Sort of a half butterfly guard by Rojas right now, which is a lot more effective, gives you a lot more options than what he had in the first round.
Yeah, he's just got to get in a position to do something with it. He's, he's in that position where it goes right back to close guard.
Yeah, that's something he's got to get fixed.
Yeah,
and again, it's experience. The 2 fights.
Yeah, Schwedev is probably happy that this is where the fight just went, because if it goes the way the first round did, this is where the round will end also. And I know Gilbert Smith, Gilbert's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I know they've worked on this. I don't know what we just said, he's only been fighting since March, and so there's not much skill you can acquire in that amount of time. Especially from this position. This is probably what you work on the absolute least.
Yeah.
It should be where if you do get in this position, if you're not going to work in this position, then you should be working on how do you get up from here, and close guard is definitely not it.
Yeah, this will, win or lose, I think there's lessons to be learned for Rojas from this fight.
I had a grappling match against Gilbert Smith right here in Denver, Colorado at the Muscle Farm headquarters, and I can tell you he's a very good grappler.
You smashed him though, right?
I don't know about smashed him. I won, but I don't know about smashed him.
Let's just call it you smashed him.
He's a big, powerful guy.
He is.
And one of the coolest
Built
guys.
like a tree trunk.
Yeah, he is, man. One of the coolest guys in the game also. We've talked quite a bit and become, acquaintances over the years. That happened in 2016, so we stay in touch regularly. I try to come see him. I've tried a couple of times to come see him whenever I've gotten here and train with those guys. Just haven't been able to make it yet, but I will. And again, more of the same from the second half of the first round, where Schwedev just passing out that ground and pound right here, and even in this position where it's definitely the right thing to do to Gino is up on his feet, his posture's bad, and he's still trying to keep that closed guard shut.
Well, here's the problem with the way this fight's going, and this is really a problem for both guys. When you've got Dana White in the building, this is not the kind of fight that gets you signed to the UFC, win or lose. I mean, and Schwedev is doing the right thing to win this fight, but that's not going to help him long term if that's the goal, is to fight in front of Dana and get called to the UFC. This is not the kind of fight that's going to get it done.
Yeah, and he's, and I know what his thinking is, that, he's already knocked me down once. I definitely don't want that to happen again. And if he's going to give me this is what I'm going to take. And it doesn't mean he can't finish it from here. He's landing some big punches from this position. Now Gino on the back of Daniel Rojas.
But you know what? This isn't the worst thing. It at least gives him a chance to get up. At least gives him a chance to change his position, because nothing was happening for him there. And it really, he started getting hit and he unhooked his legs. And that opened it up to get his back take, but at least he's got a chance to move out of here. You can spin around something, but where he was at, there was just nothing for him to do except get beat up.
Yeah, and he's got fundamentally he's got the correct idea, the 2-on-1 to try to avoid that choke and then get your head on the other side of the controlled arm.
Now he just needs to turn into this, and it's easier said than done with that body triangle, but
yeah, and he's got to be careful, because this is a good transition position for Gino also. If he can tie up that arm, he can switch this to an arm bar from his back very, very easily. Gino deciding to keep that body lock. Thinks maybe he can get this with about 35 seconds left in the second round. Here we go, Gino covering the mouth and nose of Daniel Rojas with that free hand, trying to get him to pay attention to that. that hand and get one of those hands off that arm.
Looks like we're going to see a round 3 here.
Yeah, you see Gino just smothering Daniel Rojas. And dominant second round by Gino Schwedev. Gino looking a little bit gassed over there.
I think those legs are tired.
Yeah.
You have that body triangle for all that time. It'll gas you out. Overhand right into the takedown attempt. And that's where the whole second round lasted on the mat. Yeah. Schwedev now in control on the scorecards. He basically, like I said, to get a win, he's just got to not get finished in this round. But if he's aiming for higher, he needs to really come out and make something happen here. And sometimes that's what it takes. You got to take some risks.
Yeah.
And you're right. He got clipped in the first round. But I guess it depends on what your goal is tonight.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to have different goals. But it maybe winning the fight should be goal number 1.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get signed, you got to go out there and make a statement. And that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. And I want to ask, hopefully Dana White will be able to join us later, but I want to ask him, I don't know if it's ever happened, but I would venture to say that there's probably never been a decision fight signed off the Dana White Contender Series. Or
I mean, it would have to be like just a war, like where both guys are just swinging the whole time, and it's an incredible fight. But this kind of a decision is not going to get it done.
Yeah.
Not that this is a bad fight. It's uneventful in a lot of ways. And you see Rojas taken down, immediately goes to that closed guard. That's got to be the first thing he works on, like finding a different bottom technique. If you're going to be taken down like this, you've got to change up the way you defend yourself once you're on the mat, because this is not going to work.
Yeah, and this is very frustrating as a guy who's a very new MMA fighter, that you've gotten in there, you've been in there a few times, but you still don't know really how to do. Fundamentally, you don't know how to deal with this certain situation. It's got to be very, very frustrating for the guy on the bottom. And this is just a mimic. This is just a
replay of round 2.
Replay of round 2 and half of round 1. You can see Gilbert Smith telling his guy Daniel to, unlock your legs and just go for it. Go for it. He knows that this position is going to be, this is not a good position for Daniel Rojas. And if nothing else, even if he doesn't have a submission attempt on the bottom, just get up, create some space, put your feet in the hips, push them out, get up and do something. The only damage you've done in this fight is from the feet. You have to figure out a way to get there. And I mean, you would think that just common sense alone would tell you that this is the only thing that I have to do is get up. But he's content right now with just keeping that guard closed and just minimizing the damage that he takes.
And he is. I mean, you mentioned Gilbert Smith. He's right there in his own corner. He's getting that advice, and he's just not doing anything. And it's easy for us to sit over here while we're not getting punched in the face and say, open your legs, expose yourself to some damage to take a chance and get up. But it's a lot more difficult when you're getting hammered. But it's really the only path to victory. You're not going to win this fight in the next 2.5 minutes doing this.
No. And, maybe he's hoping that, he can control the posture and he can keep the damage minimal, and maybe the referee will stand him back up. But, anytime you're depending on the referee as part of your game plan, it's not a winning formula. And again, just, Daniel Rojas having no idea, looking like what he should do here. He's in his coach's corner. I know Gilbert is telling him what to do. He's just not doing it.
That's frustrating. Frustrating as a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, it's risk reward, and so the reward is getting back to your feet and getting to a position where you're back to evening up this fight.
But at this point in the fight, minute 45 left, what's the downside?
Nothing. There's no downside.
You lose the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can lose it here or you can lose it there. Or, if you're able to get back to your feet and make something happen like he did earlier, he was very, very close to winning this fight.
Yep. That's going to be really frustrating for him when he looks back at this tape, is he had a real chance to finish. And credit to Schwedev for surviving that guillotine, but he landed the most impactful shot of this fight, and that was about all he did.
Yeah.
And that's going to be frustrating to him. And even there, you saw Schwedev posture up and start talking to him, and Rojas kept his legs locked. And that's the opportunity where you break your legs and you shove him away, shove his hips, do something. But this is frustrating for me, even from the announce booth, to have him just kind of, I don't want to say, give up, but really just give up any chance of winning the fight.
Yeah. And as a black belt, you're looking at him like a student, and so you're looking at him like where you want to go in there and be like, all right, y'all stay there for a second. All right, I'm going to show you. Gino, get in my guard, and you want to show him. And again, I don't want to take any punches from Gino Schwedev either, but this is definitely not the position where you can win this fight. 19 seconds left. He hasn't opened his guard in over 3 minutes.
Nope.
And he's done nothing but take punishment. Hasn't even tried a submission attempt or anything from there, but I think it mostly has to do with the skill level.
This is a back to the drawing board fight for Rojas. And like you said, young in the game, but this will be a big lesson for him.
Yeah, no shame. Made a good showing in the first round. On his feet, showed he had some power. But this is going to be one of those fights, a pretty easy victory for Gino Schwedev.
Yeah, Gino's happy. He knows he's barely breathing hard. He honestly didn't have to do a lot of work.
No, it was just, keep applying forward pressure with those hips and, kind of just stay out of the range of those elbows and throw punches when you see an opening. It's a pretty easy, pretty simple. Daniel Rojas made it pretty easy on him. Besides that flash knockdown.
We'll be on Fight Pass now at 6:40 Eastern, 3:40 Pacific. So 10-minute delay on starting Fight Pass. As soon as we get this one official, we'll head on over to Fight Pass.
Daniel Rojas taking a look at his eyeball there. Definitely got some damage on his face. Taking a little more coaching here. Some words of encouragement from his coach. Gilbert not liking what he's hearing out of Daniel Rojas.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The scores of 30-25, 30-26, and 30-27. Your winner of this contest by unanimous decision, the Russian Concussion, Gino Schwedev.
There you go. That wraps up your prelims, ladies and gentlemen. Switch over to UFC Fight Pass now for your main card. And Dana White will be here looking for a fight.
We'll see you there.